morning from Lake Arrowhead Resort and Spa. Just got done spending 2 days out here on this tire right here, the Dunlop TrailMax Mission tire. Good morning from Lake Arrowhead, home of the Dunlop TrailMax Mission tire launch. Here's the fleet of bikes that we're going to be riding out today on. I'm going to start on the 790 Adventure R. That's going to be a treat. And then we're going to switch bikes throughout the day so we can get an idea of how the tires handle on the various bikes. Anyway, we're going to get out right now and get these bikes on the road, get some testing so we can come back with results on how these tires actually work. You guys take care out there. We'll see you later. Peace. Fantastic tire. I've got tons of vlog footage of me on a KTM 790 Adventure R as well as a V-strom 650. That tire performed way above my expectations. So right now, as I'm ripping down the mountainside, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about that tire and show you some of that B-roll content footage and even some vlog footage of me out there using the tire, testing it, so that I can come back and talk intelligently to you guys about how that tire feels. Now, Dunlop is way late to the 50/50 tire game. I mean, there are so many options out there in the marketplace. Hey guys, take a look at this suite of Dunlop tires. Well, as of today, there is now a 50/50 option with the new Mission tire from Dunlop. This is it. But it's actually a good thing. I mean, Dunlop never half-asses anything. What they do is they go to the drawing board and they say, okay, what do we want to accomplish? And with this tire, they want to accomplish mileage. They want to accomplish amazing street characteristics. They wanted to accomplish fantastic off-road characteristics. And they wanted to kind of combine all that into one tire that's going to do it all. From what I ever heard this morning, we're running these tires at full street pressures all day long, even when we get off from the dirt. The amount of soft, sandy stuff that we're going to be hitting is very minuscule, and these tires perform better on hard-packed dirt at full pressure. At least that's what we were told from Dunlop. We just spent 2 days out here in this beautiful landscape testing adventure bike tires. Now, Wednesday night when I got up here for the press conference, I got my first opportunity to take a look at this tire up close and personal. I noticed some really interesting details. There was a lot of features and benefits of this tire that we've been seeing present themselves in ATV tires, in light truck tires, and I later found out that Dunlop and Falcon tires have kind of merged. The marketing departments of both of those companies are now residing in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Because those two teams are working together, they're taking technology from the motorcycle space and kind of looking at that and kind of deciding if there's anything there that could transfer over or work well in the truck space or car space. And then they're taking truck and car technology and doing the same thing, kind of bringing it back over to the motorcycle space. What works really good here and would also be beneficial for motorcycle tires. So when looking at the tire, I saw some step downs. That was the first thing that my eyes picked up. This is a piece of technology that I first saw on the AMS tires that we were testing for ATVs a couple years ago. I thought it was really interesting. As that tire wears down, there's another leading edge, and that leading edge is now full of bite. So as the tire progressively wears down, it's not like you get a quarter way down and the tire stops working. These tires, as they wear down, progressively hit these new leading edges that allow them to have great tire traction throughout the entire life of the tire. The other thing I noticed on the sidewall was a very aggressive, if you will, tread pattern. A sidewall tread pattern. Very similar that you'd see on an all-terrain tire for a pickup truck or a mud terrain tire. Very similar to the Falcon Wild Peak. Go figure. You do get into mud or sand or any media that's really soft is going to come up on the sidewall. Those side lugs are going to help provide traction and allow you to keep or maintain that forward momentum that you really need to get out of whatever situation you're in. On yesterday's ride, we really didn't get into anything really deep like that. Water! Here in a couple weeks, I'm going to get a set of these tires and I'm going to mount up onto the 1190 here, and we're going to put it through the traditional test. We're going to hammer this thing through the sand wash. We're going to find hopefully some mud. We're going to do some hill climbs and some downhill descents. It's going to be awesome. But until then, I'm just going to be able to talk about the experience that I've had on these tires for the last 2 days. I'm not gonna say really impressed. When I first looked at the tread pattern, I was like, all right, I see hints of Shinko 705. I see hints of that Anarchy Adventure tire. I see hints of a Bridgestone AX41. I mean, there's all kinds of action that's going on in these tires. Now, the other thing I noticed was the front tires were not the same. The larger GS and KTM tires are actually made a little bit different than some of the skinnier tires that you'd find on, so this is the 120/19 that's on this Super Adventure. And then here's the 90/90/21 on the 1190R. You can see that the tread pattern of this tire is a little bit different. So we asked about that, and they said, you know what? It took us a long time to come to market with this tire because there are so many different requirements from various motorcycles. The really large R1200 GS and GS Adventures are really heavy motorcycles. The front end is really heavy, and therefore that front tire really needs more stability and more help, if you will, than the tires that go on to lighter bikes. So they had to really go back to the drawing board and really figure out what they were going to do in order to make those bikes handle or perform as well as some of the other bikes that were really just accepting that tread pattern and running with it.
We came up with, through FEA analysis, computer-generated pattern development with concepts, 30 different concepts, 30 different concepts, which is a lot, because you need to make sure it's going to work, and make sure it's going to wear evenly. Nothing can be perfect on a computer. Right. You got to get out there, you got to ride it, you got to make on-the-fly changes. So we did that. Our test engineers would come in, with the bikes, and they go, oh, this is what's happening. So the bigger size tires, they tended to push out and slide out. And I said, so I just grabbed my hand cutting gun, put a blade on it, and we start grooving it out and adding extra sipes into the tire right on the fly. They go right back out and they go, this is it. That was it. That was perfect. It was like, boom, knock it out of the park.
I mean, really, when it comes to R&D, Dunlop held no punches in creating this tire. Fast forward to the next day, we're standing around and Wes from Rocky Mountain ATVMC is like, hey, look, this tire has a center block all the way through. None of the other tires do. What's up with that? Again, we found out that the specific tire size that fits the Honda Africa Twin was exhibiting a high-speed characteristic, like a wallow, if you will, that Dunlop didn't like. So for that specific tire size, they had to build in these connecting blocks for the center lugs that allowed it to have more stability at high speeds. It's really, really windy up here today, guys, and I hope that the audio isn't getting too jacked. I hope that the wind noise is not going to make this video not usable. Fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. So at first look, I almost questioned the fact that this was a 50/50 tire. The voids for the rear tire weren't as large as I would have liked to have seen, and the depth of the front tire was not quite as deep as I wanted to see as far as the actual lug height goes. I was really anticipating that the tire was going to handle very similar to that of a Shinko 705 or Continental TKC 70. And that wind. It's loud in the helmet for me, so I'm only imagining that it's pretty loud for you guys too. Alright, let's see if we can cut out some of that wind by doing a little off-road action. Find ourselves in the valley down over here. And looking at the overall construction of the tire, it definitely looks... Jump this, ready? Woo! Nice work. These AX41s are bitchin' tires. Alright, back to the TrailMax Mission tire that we're talking about. Alright, so the makeup and construction of the tire absolutely looked like it was going to be an awesome street tire. I mean, from what they said, the compound is supposed to be nice and soft, yet has firm characteristics. It's going to allow it to have great mileage. Now, Dunlop says that in all their testing on their V-strom 1000, they consistently were able to get 8,000 miles out of this rear tire. So, that's what we can expect to see, supposedly, on these large adventure bikes they're riding today. The GS, the big KTM. Hey, nice dude. Well, that's the first time I've ever encountered another motorcycle up here on these roads. You guys ready to hit my favorite jump? Ready, here we go. Woo! I wouldn't say it's my favorite jump. It's my favorite jump on this road. $8,000 miles for an average mileage on that rear tire. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, it has a nice round profile. So obviously I expect that tire to be amazing on the street. Nice and round. It's going to dive into corners and stick really well, which it absolutely did. Now, it worked really well on the KTM 790 Adventure that I was on. I was absolutely pleased with it. However, later on in the day, I swapped over to a V-strom 650, and on the pavement, that tire was amazing. It really exceeded expectation. I think that has to do with that V-strom 650 had a 19-inch front tire that was a bit wider and has a bigger contact patch. And I think that somebody had lowered the air pressure a little bit so it wasn't at full pressure. And dude, it made that bike feel so good. I was railing behind a BMW R1200 GS and a KTM 1190 Adventure R. They were trying to lose me. Dude, the way that tire handled on the street was just phenomenal on that V-strom. I really liked it. Now the V-strom, it didn't excel so well in the dirt just because the V-strom didn't have enough power to really use the characteristics of the tire. So here we go, V-strom 650 review in a nutshell. It's a very heavy, stable bike, and it performs exceedingly well on the pavement. Once I got off-road, I'm actually very shocked that the suspension is as good as it is off-road. I think out of the box, this has better suspension than the CB500X that I've been riding. It's a lot stiffer, and it handles the bumps, and I've never bottomed this thing out. It feels really good. The things I think are lacking on this V-strom are going to be the fact that the power's pretty soft. I mean, it doesn't really come on strong, kind of ramps up really slow. On the pavement it was okay, but here in the dirt it kind of feels like a dog. The other thing I'm going to say is it's very heavy, so I've been trying my darndest to kind of lift the front end up and over these lips. Things that were very easy to do on the Africa Twin, on the 790 Adventure R. I mean, those bikes just lofted up and over these things, and I'm doing everything that I can do to try to get this bike to lift a front wheel, and it's just not happening. But previously in the day, I was on the 790 Adventure, and I was shocked at the amount of traction or forward propulsion that I got from that tire. Every water bar that I came up to, I was able to grab throttle. It just gripped and just allowed me to launch that front tire up and over and proceed forward. Again, when I was on the V-strom 650, I could not for the life of me get that tire to lift. The other thing that I found really surprising and really it's something that I like in a front tire is the fact that when you're coming into a corner hot, to be able to grab a little bit of front brake to slow the bike down. A lot of the more street-oriented tires or 50-50 tires out there, man, look at this view, my friends. Jeez, I love it up here. This is called Marshall Peak. This is where we come and watch people do paragliding and hang gliding. It's a lot of fun. Almost got blown over. Oh, jeez. There's a better view. So you take a look at that really fat freeway right there, where it jogs to the left at the end. Right there, that's Chaparral Motorsports. And these are the lovely mountains that we get to ride in whenever we want. It's interesting, nobody's been up here on this road since it rained last. That rain really packed this dirt down, washed away the topsoil. By the end of our last tire test, we had this thing all torn up. This was super loose and rocky. Alright, where was I? Yes, the front tire. So, yeah, so that tire, I was able to come into corners kind of hot, lean on the front brake just a little bit, and the tire never cut out, never wanted to fall sideways. It just had amazing traction. Now, coming out of those corners, I was able to lay throttle down, and the tire, if it was more hard-packed, absolutely didn't slip at all. But if there was a little bit of gravel or soft stuff on the top, the tire would drift sideways or kick out just a little bit, but it was always extremely predictable and very, very manageable. And with this huge array of bikes that were out there, we had GS's, we had a 690 Enduro. That I really wish I could have had a trip on that bike too, but it was taken. We had 1250 BMWs, we had all of the KTMs, we had 1190s, there were no 1090s. Interesting. Lots of 1290s. Every version of 1290 was there for sure. So Simon Cuddy was out there. He was doing all the video and photography for this event. I really wish we would have the opportunity to test that tire in some mud, because I'm really curious to see how well those grooves actually clean out when they do get mud packed into them. I know that when I've ridden the TKC 70 in the mud, it did okay, but you had to keep that rear tire spinning so fast in order for it to clean out. If you didn't spin the tire, then it would just pack up, and it was like riding on ice skates. Sorry guys, I just had to stop for another picture. I just love this land. It's so amazing. The fact that, you know, I live 12 miles down the road, 20 miles down the road, whatever, and up here, it's just so beautiful. All right, the other terrain that we didn't get a chance to test was deep sand, but here in a couple weeks, I'll be able to have a set of those TrailMax Mission tires mounted up to the 1190 here. So we're going to take it through the sand wash. We're going to bring it up here to the mountains and put it through some of these more challenging off-road paces. We already know how well it does on a regular old fire road. We know how well it does on pavement, so we really just need to find those other pieces of terrain that we're missing from the Ride Dunlop launch, so we can add those into our overall video review of this tire, talking about how well it does in all the various terrains that the tire was developed for. Alright guys, well that's what I have for you today on the Dunlop TrailMax Mission tire. They are made here in the USA, so they should be to distributors here in the next 2 weeks or so. Pricing, I said, is just getting finalized, so we'll have detailed information on those two pieces here coming shortly. For all you who watch the channel, I really appreciate it. I give you guys a thumbs up, and if you don't mind, please give me a thumbs up as well. And if you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Until next time, and as always, take care and ride safe.